Welcome to a bonus episode of the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. On bonus episodes, I do book reviews. I would love to know what books I should be reading next. What do you recommend? Let's talk about it. Hop over to the Health with Hashimoto's community over on school.com, SKOOL.com, and let me know what books I should be reading next. For any book that I give a positive book review to, there will be an affiliate link down in the show notes. Of course, you can still go to your local library and support your local bookstore. Amazon is just available for everybody, so the affiliate link is down there. Today we're talking about the book, The Invisible Kingdom, Reimagining Chronic Illness. This is a memoir written by Meghan O'Rourke. I listened to the audiobook, which has her as the narrator, which I really love in a memoir. There's just something about hearing the person talking who also wrote it. You're listening basically their autobiography, except a memoir is more about one specific thing. And in this case, Meghan O'Rourke has had a couple decades of just feeling off, feeling completely fatigued, not even having the words to describe what she's feeling. She said multiple times, like, you say the word fatigue and people think tired. But people who have actually lived with Hashimoto's or fibromyalgia or Lyme's disease, like, they understand fatigue on a completely different level than the average person. So there's just something about listening to the actual author narrate their own book. And so I really liked the audiobook version of this. I thought she did a really good job with that narration, and her story is very good. So I'll read a little bit from the back of the cover. You can read the whole back of the cover. It says, a silent epidemic of chronic illness affects tens of millions of Americans. These are diseases that are poorly understood, frequently marginalized, and can go undiagnosed and unrecognized altogether. Skipping down to the third paragraph. Drawing on her own medical experience, as well as a decade of interviews with doctors, patients, researchers, and public health experts, O'Rourke traces the history of Western definitions of illness and reveals how inherited ideas of cause, diagnosis, and treatment have led us to ignore a host of hard-to-understand medical conditions, one that resist easy descriptions or simple cures. And I really appreciated her story. Now, the thing with memoirs is you're not always going to agree with everything that the main person is going through. For example, there are some parts of her worldview that I do not agree with. Her perception of COVID, everything that led to COVID, everything that happened because of it is like completely different than my perception of that same period of history and everything that went into it and resulted from it. But we both lived through it, and I love to hear the stories. Her story of all of her illnesses and the problems that she experienced started long before COVID. She has been dealing with things for a couple decades and trying to get answers. Hashimoto's is one of the things that she has been diagnosed with. It was actually, I believe, the first diagnosis that she received. And since then, she's had several more. The story is good. I highly recommend this book because, for one, it's nice to feel like you're not alone. If you have Hashimoto's or if you have family that has Hashimoto's, listening to somebody else's story, you're gonna resonate with a lot of it. Like, oh yeah, I've been there. Oh yeah, I've been dismissed by doctors. Oh, spending tons of time trying to coordinate medical care, trying to, get medical records from this medical system to another medical system where they should just be able to talk easy, but yet it's on me as the patient trying to coordinate it. Like, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I've been there, done that. And it's just nice to hear somebody else's story. Another thing I really appreciated about this book is it's not a fairy tale. Like, you're not going to get a happy ending. There's no magic happily ever after. Like, I had this struggle, and then I got this diagnosis, and then I did X, Y, and Z, and now I am fully healthy, fully well, and thriving in life. It's not that story. It's, I had this problem and I searched for solutions and I finally got some, and then I was still having problems, and I kept searching and I found other little bits of solution, and here is how I'm doing now. And I mean, disclaimer, spoiler, I guess, she's doing much better now. She has had several different things that made significant differences, especially when she figured out I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that she figured out that she had Lyme's. And so getting treatment for that was obviously far different than getting treatment for or dealing with Hashimoto's. So I love the fact that she doesn't shy away from that. She's not saying, I'm going to give you a happy ending. She's saying, this is my story, this is my struggle, and I hope it helps you as maybe you can relate to it. She also emphasizes the fact that illness and chronic illness is not a gift. She was having a conversation with a friend, and the friend brought up something about like, what good has come from this, or what have you learned? And I'm sure you have heard that too. Like, yes, you have Hashimoto's, you have an autoimmune condition. How is your life better now because of that diagnosis? How have you changed things? I mean, for me, I have cleaned up everything in our house, like chemicals and cleaners, the foods we eat, the things that we're exposed to. Like, all of that is different for my entire family because of my journey with health. And hopefully, or probably for you, it's the same thing. But one thing she said is illness is not a gift. It is a bad thing. Nobody wants to be chronically ill. Nobody wants to have an autoimmune condition. It is not a good thing. Even though good can come from it, even though we can learn things and implement them in our lives, the illness itself is not a gift. I appreciated that she said that and said that so well. She said it better than I just did. Another thing she talked about in the book is that it like what a burden it is to be the patient. If you have cancer, there's a cancer center and like everybody coordinates care around the person and around what they are going through. If you have an autoimmune condition or Lyme's or anything like that, there is not that. So managing your care and trying to make sure everybody has what they need is a big job. At one point in time, she calculated all of the hours in a month that she was spending coordinating her own care, calling doctors' offices and trying to get the information from, clinic A to specialist B and all labs and tests, all of that. And it was days out of every month that she was spending just trying to coordinate her care. Here's a little bit of a clip from one of the interviews that she's doing in the book.
I asked Cutler why no one seemed to be organizing and managing care, offering advice about how to manage illnesses that seem to respond to sleep, diet, and so forth. Doctors are not trained to do this, Cutler said. A doctor is trained like a tradesman. A surgeon is trained to cut you open. A plumber is trained to fix your pipes. A dermatologist is trained to check your skin. They're not trained to manage you. So someone has to step into that role. That's the biggest missing thing in healthcare, in part because the economics don't work or haven't worked. What always strikes me, who are the three highest paid people on the football team? The quarterback, the left tackle, the person who protects the quarterback from the blind side, and the coach. What is the coach getting paid for? He never touches the ball during the game. He's not very fit. But he's bringing everything together. He's paid to bring all this together. No one does this for your health.
She is completely spot on in that observation. Most of the book, like the first 2/3, is her story. And there are interviews interspersed in there. The last section is solutions. And that's one thing that she's saying we need a solution for. And I would love to offer myself as the solution for that. However, I'm not big enough to do that for everybody with autoimmune conditions. As she said, or as the back of the book said, it's tens of millions of Americans. And then you add in all of the people from Europe and Australia, like all over the world that are dealing with this. So I am not going to manage everybody's care. But what I have to offer you is the Hashimoto's root cause reset, where I teach you not necessarily how to manage your care. I'm not going to teach you, how to call a doctor's office and how to get medical records switched. But what I'm going to teach you is how to identify your own root causes and how to be the CEO of your health, how to make those decisions. Every single provider, specialist, medical person is on your team. They're on your board of directors, but you are the one calling the shots. You are the CEO. And that is one thing I help you figure out is how to best function in that role as CEO. So I I agree with her. We do need a solution to help people navigate this. And hopefully the Hashimoto's root cause reset is just a tiny piece of that puzzle. And I can help so many people through that root cause reset. It's something that we all need. We all need to know what are our root causes and how can I move forward. So I give this book, before I give you my star rating, let me tell you how I rate books. I am on StoryGraph and I have a very specific rating system that I use. It's the original Goodreads rating system, which is not the Amazon rating system. The Amazon rating system, basically, if you received it and it's not broken, it's 5 stars. But that's not the original rating system for Goodreads. When I am going back through my ratings, if I see a 5-star, I want it to mean more than I received it. It was in good condition and, I read it. So here are my ratings. 5 stars is it was amazing. I will read it again or this will change my life. A 4 stars is I really liked it. 3 stars is average for me. Most books that I read get 3 stars. And 3 stars is I liked it. 2 stars, it was okay. 1 star, I didn't like it. I give this book 4 stars. It's not going to change my life. It resonated with me. A lot of the things that she said, I was like, oh yeah, I completely agree. Or I've been through that. I completely identify with that when she's talking about the fatigue and it being more than just being tired. There's a lot of things in the book that you're going to be able to relate to. I don't think this book is going to change my life. It didn't help me see root causes in a new way. So I'm giving it 4 stars. I highly recommend it. Go check it out at your local library, buy it from a local bookstore, or hop down to the show notes and get it from Amazon. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any questions or concerns with your healthcare professional. No statements have been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and any products mentioned are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.